Welcome back to Let's Binge. How are you doing, Keilee?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Just have a, chip tooth.
Hectic
Week's
week.
going great.
Yeah, we had quite a hectic week. Our microphones died last time we tried to record.
Yep. So we apologize for the delay in getting the next episode uploaded, but
We've had just a busy week.
yeah.
So we continue.
Yes, we're back. Don't we have a lot to say?
Oh, yes, we do.
So jumping back, we are starting this episode with season 1, episode 7 of Teen Wolf, and it is called Night School. Stiles, Scott, Lydia, Jackson, and Allison begin to distrust one another as they spend a terrifying night trapped in high school, stalked by the vengeful alpha werewolf. This episode was a lot.
All of it was a lot.
It wasn't that it was a lot. It was just that it was a lot of like
Things
back
happening.
and forth at the beginning, and then once they were all together, it was easier to
follow along.
Yeah, that. The episode begins where the last episode ends with the alpha killing Derek. And then Stiles and Scott running and hiding in the school.
And they try to look for a way out instantly. Mm-hmm. They're looking through windows. They're like, maybe we could just book it to the car.
Mm-hmm.
And the alpha
said,
no.
Not. Probably
throws
not today.
Stiles' car battery through the window.
Mm-hmm. I mean, smart on the alpha's part, but unfortunate for the Jeep.
Yeah.
That poor Jeep.
I was going to say, that poor Jeep goes through too much shit.
Yeah. Can't believe that thing still is alive.
Joined again by our fur friends.
Yeah. Layla and Beasley.
They're constant.
Yeah, so the alpha throws the battery. And then they run to the locker room.
Yes. Being the loudest people, bang, bang, bang. Like, yeah. I was like, what is happening?
Literally the whole episode, they are so loud.
I was like, what? Why?
Yeah. As if the werewolf or the alpha can't hear
them going through everything.
Yeah. Talking, running, all of that, because Scott, when he was training with Derek, had to like jump on cars just so that Derek couldn't hear his heartbeat.
Yeah, which is insane.
Yeah. And they are thinking that, I don't even know what they're thinking. They're not.
They're not
thinking.
That's the thing.
I guess in that situation they're just trying to survive, but they're idiots.
Then the janitor finds them and is like, what are you guys doing?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you guys gotta go. Mm-hmm. He's walking them out of the locker room and the alpha kills him.
Yeah, he gets snatched and killed.
And the alpha is limiting its ways out. Their ways out.
Yes.
They try to escape, and the weird shots of their feet.
I know, them running, as if we don't know.
Yeah,
that's
we're
what's
running.
Happening. Yeah, no. And then Scott, quote unquote, texts Allison to meet him at the school.
Yeah.
Jackson and Lydia go to pick her up, take her to the school. And then there's the whole
messy Jackson, jealous Lydia.
Yeah.
Where Jackson gets out and he was like, be safe.
Yeah.
To and Allison.
All like, oh, I love you. Be safe. You don't give a shit.
I fucking hate you.
But he's doing it just to piss off Lydia.
As well,
Scott,
one of the two.
He's just doing it to be a dick, really. Yeah, I didn't like the whole exchange between Jackson and Allison, and honestly, I haven't since the whole like them talking in the hallway scene. So I don't like what's happening there.
No, it's weird. I don't like it.
Yeah. So then at this point, Allison goes in.
Yes. But Scott and Stiles, just ignoring Allison because she's not very important right now.
Yeah.
They're really loud again.
Always, the whole time.
But when they try to distract them with keys, then the keys are so much louder than they are. Like,
Yeah.
what? Why? They've
Yeah.
been running around making the most noise
Yeah.
anyone has ever made possible.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
those keys. Ooh.
Yeah, well, and then they trap the alpha in the basement?
I don't know.
I don't know. But Styles is like peekaboo, taunting, as if that's not going to piss off the werewolf or the alpha, because honestly, if he hadn't done that, they would have had more time to get out of the school.
Yeah. Instead of taunting the alpha into jumping
into the
through the ceiling.
Yeah, because if he hadn't have pissed him off, it might have taken the alpha a few seconds to figure out
what to do.
Yeah, but instead he got pissed and figured it out like
real
that.
fast. More Jackson and Lydia issues. They find just that the whole car situation. Lydia has a new trauma.
Yes. Yeah.
Can't be left alone in the car.
The core.
Can't be left alone in the car.
Yeah.
But also can't be left alone because of the whole alpha thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Jackson gets all pissed off, and then
she's like, I have to pee.
Yeah, you mentioned this the first time we were talking about this, but when they get to the school, Derek's car is gone.
Yes.
So Dr. D is gone, as well as Derek's car.
Mm-hmm. So. Just like putting that out there.
Yeah.
Throwing that little tidbit out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Jackson and Lydia get out of the car, go look at Styles' car, notice that the battery's gone, and Jackson...
that the roof is messed up.
Yeah.
Because they didn't fully see the battery gone.
That's right.
But once they get into school, Lydia has to pee, so he's like, oh, fucking asshole. And then the alpha's over here taunting Jackson.
Yeah. Doesn't attack him.
No, just taunting.
Yeah, like barely acknowledges.
Just stares at him and then gets down on all fours and walks away.
Yeah. I don't know why. Like, the alpha seems to have, like...
this obsession with Jackson.
Yeah, but it's like almost like trying to figure... Like, it's almost like Jackson is a threat to the alpha in a way. Like, he's not... Like, the alpha's afraid of Jackson.
Almost.
For some reason.
Won't go near him. Yeah. Won't attack him.
Yeah. And, yeah, so I don't know what that...
whole thing
that's
is
about, but
the CGI of the alpha,
so bad, dude.
It's so bad.
Yeah, he looks horrible. Honestly, though, all of the
for 2011 though.
Yeah,
for
sure.
MTV 2011.
MTV
2011.
Yeah.
Movies 2011. Pretty good.
Yeah. But MTV. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, they all kind of look a little weird when they...
And you just gotta... You just gotta take it with a grain of salt. Yeah. That is Teen Wolf. And I just love mentioning the CGI. It just makes me laugh. So no hate to Teen Wolf and their CGI.
It's just a little funny.
It just makes me laugh.
So then all of them meet up in the lobby. Is that what they called it?
Yeah.
I don't
know. They find out that Scott didn't send the text.
Yep. And now they are running for cover because there's a murderer in the school.
Who was chasing them.
Yeah. So they run into the cafeteria. I think that's what that is.
I don't know.
Maybe. I want to say so.
Because they go into the kitchen later. So I assume cafeteria then.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that that's where they are. They're rushing to block the door.
Styles is trying to be the voice of reason.
Yeah, Styles and he can't get a word in with these people.
And then he says, such a famous Styles line, beautiful job, beautiful job. What should we do about the 20-foot wall of windows?
Yeah. So then they start asking Scott, like, what's going on?
And he says, Derek Hale's the killer.
Yeah. Bad move on Scott's part.
Because, on his part, Derek's dead. Why not? But also Styles is like, but what if he's not?
And he's like, we'll figure it out when we
figure it out.
Yeah. So he blames Derek, all this shit. They scream at each other.
Jackson wants to call the police.
And Styles says absolutely not because he doesn't want his dad to get eaten by the alpha.
Yeah. And he goes, you want to hear it in Spanish?
No! Yeah. Also another great Styles line.
Always. I'm sorry.
But Styles punches Jackson in the face. And
yes.
I just had to take a moment and be like, Styles, yes, boo. Yes!
Coming through!
I know. It's about time also.
Yes. Somebody needed to punch Jackson like 7 episodes ago.
Yeah, literally.
Scott is yelling at Allison because Allison's like, she was getting on my nerves too, honestly.
They honestly were all really annoying during this episode.
What is happening? What is happening? Yeah. I don't know!
Whereas Scott and Styles, obviously they know what's happening.
They know, but like, they're not going to say they know.
So then Styles becomes the problem solver, and
by knowing the school layout.
Which is so weird. Why?
I don't know.
But, so they go through the kitchen, and apparently there's stairs in the kitchen.
And they end up in a chemistry room.
Yeah.
Lydia shows her smarts this episode.
Yes, she does, by making a Molotov cocktail. Self-exploding.
Yes.
I think Jackson purposefully gave her the wrong
thing,
acid, or whatever was needed. But you don't think that.
No, I think he was just a full-on idiot.
I don't know. I just feel like when I was watching it, I saw in my brain him pause and then reach for the other one. But maybe that was just to show us that he didn't give her the right one.
Yeah, and I honestly think it was just him questioning which one was it.
Yeah, might have been. I don't know. We never really find out.
It's up to the fans to decide.
Yeah, pretty much.
Allison knows Scott's lying.
Yeah.
You have tell too. I hated that.
I know. And no explanation. He does not.
What's his tell?
Yeah, she freaks out, doesn't want him to go out, but I mean, of any of them,
Scott's the right choice.
Yeah.
He's also going to be the one who's like full on murdered. But
correct.
Like, it happens.
Yeah. So
the Alpha starts luring Scott by blood.
Yep. The janitor's blood.
He
goes out to get the keys to get to the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Which, what would that have done anyway?
Yeah, literally, he was on the roof earlier.
Yeah.
I was like, the werewolf can get from the roof into the school onto the ground. You can. The rest of them cannot. Where do you think that was? Like, is there a fire escape that you, like, Styles knows of since he knows the layout of the school?
Maybe, but I was sitting there and I was like, okay, great. What do you do after you get to the roof? He gets lured to the gym under bleachers where the janitor is.
And that is where my fear comes from. Of getting squished to death.
Yeah.
By bleachers. Such a weird fear. But, like,
I mean,
I have that fear.
I mean, I don't have that fear, but I've also never been underneath bleachers.
Neither have I, actually.
Yeah. Moving bleachers are definitely, like, iffy, but you would think that they have, like, a mechanism or something in them that if it, like there was something blocking it from closing, that it would stop, but I don't know if
I don't know. I swear I've seen, I swear, like, some real person did die from that.
Yeah. We'd have to research. Yeah. I don't know.
So, anyway. Ignoring that, Jackson's back to being messy and making Lydia jealous with him being like, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Scott howls.
It was the Alpha who howled.
Okay.
And Jackson was affected.
Yeah.
As well as Scott.
Yes.
So something.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Now I remember.
Scott was forced into changing.
Yes.
Jackson just had a big ass effect. Styles is suspicious of Jackson.
Yep.
For the reason of being, he's like, what's on the back of your neck?
Yeah. So before Scott can kill his friends,
yes,
he hears Allison's voice,
and we find out more about Allison being his anchor.
Yeah. The cops show up.
Yes. And Derek's car, we officially see, is gone.
Yes. And Dr. D is back.
Dr. D is back.
Kind of sus, not gonna lie.
Definitely. We also find out that Allison, Stiles, Lydia, and Jackson are Scott's pack.
Yes. And that is not the last time we hear that, which I just found out recently, but
yes, I've known that for a while. But like,
yeah, it's fine. People who are watching along.
Oh, I forgot to say. So when Scott was having his murderous rage,
yeah,
I came up with a nickname for him.
Oh,
Scott McCall, the murderer.
Yes. So Scott has his own pack. And then unfortunately, we see the first breakup. Scallison.
How disappointing.
I know, and I was honestly just kind of annoyed at why she was mad, because
he lied.
I get that, but also he saved you. May not have been a human murderer, but it was a murderer. I don't know. Whatever. They break up. It's sad, unfortunate, and
episode ends.
Yeah, that episode was a lot.
That was a lot.
All right, episode 8, moving on, is called Lunatic.
Scott's family and friends are alarmed when the full moon brings out his dark and vengeful side, and Jackson, Chris, and Kate begin to draw conclusions about the monster's identity.
This episode was gross. I mean, like, I get...
I
hated this episode.
I have a lot to say about this episode. It was just okay.
I hated this episode, dude. I could not stand Scott at all at any point that I was like, I can't even talk. It was horrible. They had to show what he's like during the full moon. I just hated it. But we can get into it.
Yeah. So, we start off, Scott and Stiles getting a little tipsy-turvy.
Well, Stiles is getting a little
I was going to bring that up. So, Stiles admits his love for Lydia, and then he's like, are you as wasted as I am? And Scott's like, not a chance.
Yeah, no.
Scott is stone cold sober.
Yeah,
and Stiles is so wasted.
And Scott is just so meh. I get it, he's heartbroken, but like,
meh.
Your friend's trying to help you.
Yeah, it might be with alcohol. But...
crack a smile, like a little one.
Yeah, and then he goes and terrorizes some townies.
Yeah.
Like, they come on, obviously the townies were, like, trying to terrorize him first.
Yeah.
But, like, then he was over here, like, give me the alcohol back. I'm not drunk yet. And then breaks it on a tree.
I know. Poor Stiles. What if he wanted more?
Yeah. I mean, Stiles is probably shouldn't.
I mean, he probably shouldn't. But Scott was dramatic and broke the bottle. That whole scene was just obnoxious.
So that we also find out the full moon is tomorrow.
Yes. So once Scott and Stiles leave, it cuts to those two townies, and they get attacked by the Alpha.
I mean, we can't see it's the Alpha, but we just assume.
We assume. I mean, I don't know who else is running around killing things. It could be a mountain lion.
Oh, it could be a mountain lion. It could be next season.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Alpha attack, we assume the Alpha attacks those two guys.
And then it cuts back to Scott laying in his bed, and Melissa's like, you still upset?
Yeah.
You want a new car? Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that was a good mom moment.
That was. I enjoyed that moment.
Honestly, I have loved every scene with Melissa in it.
Me too. I love Melissa.
She's just such a good character. She's kind of like Stiles in a way, where it's like I always get a positive vibe whenever she's in the scene.
But I mean, like, I feel like that's a lot of the adults in this show.
Yeah. I love Sheriff.
Oh, the Sheriff's the best. Like, a lot of the adults, even if they're mad, you're kind of like, oh,
I still love you.
Sheriff, Melissa, love it.
Coach.
Oh, fucking Coach, man.
Coach.
Coach is the best.
Chris
gets better later.
Yeah, right now he's an ass.
Oh,
so then it cuts to Kate and
Chris and Allison.
Sorry, my arm freaked out and it felt like the bed was vibrating. Not sure what that was about.
So Kate is trying to be the cool aunt.
Kate and Chris argue about
her being right.
Yeah, remember I couldn't read whatever I wrote?
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, acting sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As well as the gas comment.
Oh my god.
Where he was like, yeah, you're right. And she was like, actually, I was just going to say that your guess is we need to stop for gas.
Yeah, which is a lie. That's not what she was going to say. But she's sick of being yelled at this point. I think sure. So. Maybe stop being a bitch.
Maybe. We also find out there's a state detective in town.
Yeah, so Stiles goes. Does he go out to find his dad, or he just runs into him?
I think his dad's in the school.
Yeah. And Stiles warns his dad about being careful tonight.
Because it's the full moon.
And that's when Mr. Stalinsky says, yeah, we got somebody from the state in here. Which, knowing what we know, he obviously works with the hunters.
And we cut to all the kids in a testing mode.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Harris is like, it's like 30% of your grade to write down your name. And Stiles, just cute little Stiles.
Yeah.
Making sure, like, to write his name.
Dude, Mr. Harris hates children.
Yeah, I don't know how he got to be a teacher.
Neither do I. Like he's...
I swear to God, he abuses children in his free time.
Yes! Like, he's so rude.
Honestly, can we, like, push him off a cliff? Like, somebody just, like, bring him up on the full moon.
Well, how no children have, like, complained? I don't know how he's still a teacher. I don't know how he's still there, but Scott has a panic attack. He can hear, like...
everything happening. He's, like, seeing things that he shouldn't be seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So he runs out of the test, and Stiles follows him.
Yeah, good old Stiles.
And Scott is in the water trying to calm down, and then Stiles pulls out his inhaler from his backpack, like, best friend ever. Mm-hmm. He's like, here, use this.
It's also the first time that we've seen or heard about the inhaler since
the second episode.
Yeah.
As well,
we're on episode 8.
As well as this is one of the first times we hear about Stiles' panic attacks.
And his mom.
Yeah.
Well, this is the second time I think we heard about his mom.
Yeah.
But it's not talked about often.
No, it really isn't. But we find out that Scott's having a panic attack.
Yeah, not an asthma attack, but the inhaler did help him.
By distracting him.
Yeah.
By taking in a deep breath.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now I have that the hunters are working with the state cop.
Before you get there.
Yeah.
So we find out just that how bad the full moon is affecting Scott. And I bring back Scott McCall, the murderer.
Mm-hmm.
He's back this episode.
Yeah,
so that's
he's got some demons to work out.
Man!
Dude's got problems.
The murderer shifts, I feel like, from one person to another in their coming up episodes.
Mm-hmm. It does. My main note for this episode was that I don't like Scott.
I'm trying to see, like, over here bringing my fake binoculars out.
Okay, now.
State detective is a hunter.
But, again, we don't see him
ever again. But I did notice Mrs. Argent had her first big line. Everybody
applause! And that first big line made me really not like her.
Yeah, she's a bitch. But, like,
I don't like her either.
I hate her so much. But I just had to announce it.
Allison's mom.
Like, does she even ever get a name? Like, I've been calling her
Allison's mom. No.
Miss Argent. Argent mom. Like,
no.
Dallas.
Excuse me? They do not get a ship name. Pump the brakes.
Jackson and Allison. I have Jay and Allison. And so I was like, Jallison. Wait. No. Jackson touches Allison's lips. And it made me so uncomfortable. I was like, ew!
I know.
He was like touching. I was like, stop.
I know.
I was like, you're violating this woman.
I know. I said, let me repeat. Jackson and Allison is gross. I don't like them together. I don't know what.
He's definitely fucking with her head. And
well, he's doing it to piss off Scott.
But also to make her question her relationship
with Scott. I know! This manipulative little bastard.
And then Scott's listening to this shit.
I know.
And so he bangs his head on the wall and breaks the wall.
Fucking dramatic, okay?
Yeah, that was a little... And nobody saw that either!
Okay, also, I said Scott keeps destroying the school, and nobody notices.
Thank you! I was like, what is happening? How does nobody see this man over here breaking all this school shit? Yeah. And it's not even things you can break. Lockers, walls?
I know. And nobody questions it. Nobody says anything. It's just fixed.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Also, I don't know if you caught this. Mm-hmm. The Greenberg gave the whole team pink eye.
Mm-hmm. And I also said that it's the third mention of Greenberg.
Yes, we get more Greenberg in the coming up episodes, and I'm so excited. I love Greenberg. We're just gonna have every episode Greenberg reference, Greenberg reference, Greenberg.
Already got that down. Yes, Stiles gets to play
first line,
and then
he
doesn't
was so excited. No,
I know.
But so okay.
Belinsky.
And one of a very famous line by Stiles is, "It's Stiles," or it's Biles. Call me Biles, or I swear to God I'll kill you.
Oh my God, I love Stiles.
And then later in that episode, Coach calls back to it and is like, "Where's Belinsky?"
I know.
I was like,
yes. And then
so Jackson and Style are now co-captains.
Jackson and Scott
are both co-captains.
You're giving Stiles way too much credit.
Stiles hasn't even played, and we're on season. I was like, every time he gets the opportunity, he's nowhere to be seen.
I know.
I was like, this poor person.
Yeah, so Coach makes it Jackson and Scott co-captains, which Jackson's pissed off about, but who cares? Jackson's little baby.
Is being such a supportive, non-toxic bestie.
I know. I literally love Danny. He could do no wrong.
No.
Like, he's so perfect.
Danny is literally the best. I love him.
I know. The next thing I have is that Lydia's a bitch.
Well, okay. I have two things between there.
Okay.
Scott smelling jealousy, and we all know who's that's stinking up. Mm-hmm. It's Jackson. Jackson.
Yep.
And then Scott only caring about Allison because Stiles is over here like, oh my God, I got first line. And Scott's like, Allison.
Dude, I cannot stand their friendship, and I'm not sure if they did this on purpose, but he's a shit friend. Like, he's not
like when I first watched it, I was like, Scott and Stiles, besties forever. And now I'm like watching it as an adult, and I'm like, yeah, honestly, why?
If I were Stiles, I would have dropped Scott's ass so fast.
I would have dropped him like 8 episodes ago.
Literally. Like, he's not a good friend.
Yeah, I literally put Scott as a terrible best friend.
Yeah.
But also, Lydia being manipulative.
She is a bitch. Yeah. I would have ripped her hair out.
And then...
because she kisses Scott. And this is another example of Scott being a shit friend, because he goes
there to ask Lydia if she has feelings for Stiles.
Because
and
Stiles
then he goes
so in love.
He goes, how's Allison?
Yeah, fucking.
And then she kisses him, and then he goes to Stiles and is like, she's into you. Also, so next scene, whatever.
Yeah.
Because that is pissing me off. Danny is injured from Scott, and there's 3 people injured. And everybody goes, Danny!
Yes, because Danny is superior.
Danny is superior, but also, like, what about the other 2?
Who cares about them? It's like Greenberg.
Kate is giving Allison lessons on how to tase Mr. Bear.
Yeah, that poor bear.
Yeah,
and then she cries after tasing the bear.
Yeah. Kate learned that Scott and Derek are friends, which is no.
Yep. Yeah. And then Melissa is worried about Scott.
But also, how she tells Stiles about this, he made a key to their house, and she goes, it scares me, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It was like, yes.
Yeah. I'd also like to mention that Melissa is the one that says the name of this episode.
She does?
Yep. She is talking to Stiles about how the full moon makes people lunatics. And just talking about how that's where they got the word lunatic, but that is the name of this episode. So I just wanted to point that out because I think it's really interesting that they are
actually saying the episode.
Yeah, not a lot of shows do that.
No.
So
usually they just kind of like make it fun little names.
Yeah, titles or whatever it is. So
Scott scares Stiles, sitting in a chair, looking all brooding. Like, what are you turning into, Derek?
Yeah, literally. Okay, but the problem is, I think, is that I love Derek, but that's been his personality from the get-go.
Yeah, Scott can't just turn into him.
Correct. Correct.
And then Stiles locks Scott up for his own good.
Yeah, with some handcuffs.
Yes. And Stiles confirms that he knows that Scott and Lydia made out.
Yeah.
And that hurt me.
I know, I wanted to cry for him.
Okay. So Jackson is watching Allison. Neither one of us remember when or where. Going back to the
Scott and Stiles.
Stiles made Scott a dog bowl and wrote his name on it in Sharpie. Did you see that?
No.
What?
Where did he put it? Next to the furnace?
No! He was hanging it up and was like, here's some water. And pours it into the dog bowl. I love that scene!
Dude, I apparently didn't pay attention during this. No, you didn't.
And then Scott is threatening Stiles, which is so sad.
I know, and then he goes from threatening him to like trying to manipulate him
and telling him like fully what happened with Lydia, and was like,
for me.
And was like, I know. He was like saying how Lydia made out with him, and he didn't make out with Lydia, which is like how depressing.
I know.
And then now Allison and Jackson are in the car.
Yeah.
And
Allison knows that she's being lied to, like, for sure now.
Yeah.
Like,
but they both don't think it was Derek at the school. Yeah. And she admits she knows her father's lying. Mm-hmm. But between then and there,
yeah,
Scott is trying to make Stiles let him go.
Scott escapes.
He does escape.
Mm-hmm. And runs straight for Jackson and Allison.
Yes, he was technically heading for Allison, but finds Jackson there as well.
And guess who's back? Back again. Derek's back. Tell a friend.
I was gonna say, don't grab the alpha.
Yeah.
So
Derek makes a grand entrance towards the end of this episode.
But before there,
mm-hmm.
Jackson told Allison about what he saw about the alpha standing up and then going down on all fours and walking away.
Yeah.
Also, Scott's been seeing things all episode.
Yeah.
And in his mind,
they're making out, about to do something else.
And then Derek makes his grand entrance, pushing Scott off the roof of the car to protect him.
Yeah.
Or make sure he doesn't do anything like murder him.
Correct.
And McCall the murderer returns.
Yep.
I don't know if you noticed. It was just something I picked up on. Scott looks so young compared to Derek in this scene.
That's because they're...
Well, yes, I know. But like, I don't know. Like, I've just like recently like seeing them nowadays. Yeah. They're both like older in their 30s.
Yeah.
And but they're both in their 20s. They're so young.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think like Tyler Posey's like 19 in this season.
Yeah.
Because I remember that Dylan O'Brien was saying that they were both 18 when they started this show.
Yeah.
So he's probably 19 in this. Derek's probably like 24, or Tyler
25.
Hoechlin's probably 24.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, wow. I just kind of like realized, I was like you just don't think about that all the time. And so I'm just like, wow, does he look so young?
Yeah.
He showed Derek showed Scott how he could control himself really well on the full moon.
Yeah. His little claws. Yeah, the next thing I have is that Kate is suspicious of Scott. Are you there yet?
No.
Okay.
So I have that Stiles was kind of scared that his dad was killed when he saw the townies being wheeled out.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, not Scott. Stiles has really had it rough this episode.
Yeah, he has. But, and then oh my God, the father-son hug.
Yeah.
Oh, it just made my heart.
I don't know. I'd like to mention really fast that, like, this episode, Scott is horrible to Stiles.
Yeah.
But Stiles doesn't get mad at him.
At all. Scott! Stiles! What are their names? Stiles is top tier best friend material.
Yeah.
And Scott's way below the line.
But what made me laugh is that last podcast episode that we did, there was a whole episode about how Stiles was mad at Scott, and we like had really no idea why.
Yeah.
But in this episode, he has a reason to be
mad,
like,
and he
so
doesn't.
Pissed, and he doesn't get mad.
It's just
I don't know.
So, Kate and Chris are watching Stiles, and they go, "What if the other werewolf is younger?" Do you think they think that Stiles is the wolf, or they just immediately were like, "What if it's a teenager?"
Yeah. Well, didn't they say that? What if it was a teenager because they saw Jackson's Scratchy?
No.
Or was that way back?
That was way back.
Oh, okay, JK.
Because it's immediate. No, that's next.
Yeah.
Because they were like, what if it's a teenager?
Yeah.
With Stiles, and then the next is the game, and then they're like, it's Jackson. And because they're like, can you get turned by a scratch? So they're like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And then they move on to Scott. So it's a whole...
Good God.
It's a whole back and forth kind of situation.
Yeah.
But Scott and Derek come up with a plan to find and kill the Alpha.
Because Derek tells Scott that that's the cure.
Yes.
Is to kill the one that bit you.
Yes. And you also see how easily the Alpha can transform.
Yeah.
From Alpha to human. Also,
Jackson knows.
Also, how creepy of him to like keep Scott's glove and then find this werewolf thing. And go, oh my God!
Yeah, I know. He's weird.
He's so weird. What an episode.
Yeah. I don't know. They always ended on something big.
Something big.
Yeah. All right. Episode 9 is called Wolfsbane.
A power-hungry Jackson forces Scott into a dangerous bargain. Lydia receives some unpleasant news. Stiles and Derek make a shocking discovery about the mysterious Alpha.
This was a good episode.
This was a good Alpha. I'm actually gonna leave. See you guys later. Fucking hell, I can't speak. Do not lick my toes. That was weird.
I'm leaving that in there.
You better.
Okay. So beginning scene, Mr. Harris is talking with the Alpha. I knew there was something wrong with Mr. Harris.
Yeah, he's talking to the Alpha.
Yeah. We definitely find out that it is a Hale.
Yes.
Because Mr. Harris says something about Laura
Hale wrote a list.
Yep.
Looking for Mr. Harris.
Why? That never gets answered.
No.
He's weird, and he gets away with way too much.
No, it was because I know what it was. So he talked to the arsonist, and he had the drawing of her necklace.
That's right.
So,
okay.
Also, I just want to throw this in there. Did no one notice Derek's speed, like running on foot? Like police cars are chasing this man, and he's speeding away on foot, and they're going at least 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, and then not only is he running from the cops, he's also running from the hunters.
Yes.
And Scott and Stiles pull up.
And they're distracting Kate in Derek's car.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a funny scene where Chris is like, Derek's going into the woods or whatever it was. And Kate's like, then who's in his car?
Freaking Stiles, that whole scene.
Oh my God. So I enjoyed Derek scaring the dogs away.
Yep.
And then
And the sheriff goes, "What the hell?"
Right. Oh my Derek definitely needs to trust Stiles and Scott more.
They need to trust each other. And that is a big thing. Honestly, throughout this season and going into next is like nobody trusts anybody. And it makes everything harder for them.
Yeah. So then I have Laura found Harris as well as an Argent heirloom.
Yep. Jackson has a horrible dream and
nightmares about the hailfire.
Yep. He ends up going to the doctor and he finds out that he has wolfsbane poisoning.
He knows things that he shouldn't know.
Yeah. Like his dreams are like visions, but
yeah, he's hallucinating. Rare Jackson and Melissa scene. Melissa was so nice and was like, "Oh, Scott's friends.
Oh, you're friends with my son.
Let
sure,
me help
sweetie.
You out."
I know.
And I was like, Melissa, you just got fucked in the ass.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Not in the physical sense.
Jackson looks up what wolfsbane is on her computer, and that's when he like solidifies that he knows what's happening.
And he tells Scott he knows and threatens to tell Allison
if Scott does not give him the bite.
Yeah.
Which
he should have just bit him and been like, "Well, there you go."
There you go. Honestly, would have saved us a whole lot of problems.
And also, Jackson knowing that Scott can hear him.
God, that scene really pissed me off.
You know what I hated scene-wise? I'm focusing on Jackson's mouth.
I know. He's not cute. You know,
I find him attractive. He's very attractive.
Something about his face bothers the shit out of me.
He looks so much better older.
For sure. But like in that scene specifically,
I hated that scene. He looks
horrible. Jackson's taunting Scott, trying to really
I don't know why Scott didn't just stop listening.
That's what Stiles was trying to get him to do.
Yeah.
Scott doesn't listen to Stiles.
Never.
Moral of the story, Stiles is always right.
Jackson broke up with Lydia over text.
Dude.
But he and I put corrected, dumped.
Yes.
Because he made that very specific. I'm dumping you.
Dude, I feel so bad for Lydia. Scott's trying to get the necklace that Kate gave to Allison because the Alpha or Derek found the drawing and gave it to Scott. Scott recognized it, so all throughout this episode he is trying to get that necklace. And
Stiles is trying to get Danny to get him something. But before we get there,
Stiles and Danny, so good.
I put Derek's in Stiles' room because I know this scene. I love this scene, and I didn't realize. I don't know what this was. I don't remember what context it was in. But Stiles goes huggy huggy. I don't know if it was to his dad or what.
I think it was
probably. But I enjoy that he goes, "My house, my rules, buddy."
Oh my god, this episode was so good.
Where Derek goes and Stiles does the same thing.
Yes.
I loved
it. I said that Stiles, just like a side note, but Stiles provides the only lightheartedness to the show.
Coach too, when we see him.
Yeah. But like consistent.
Oh, consistent, yes, definitely.
It's Stiles. That whole scene was hilarious. And then Stiles, Danny, and
oh my god, I'm not there yet, but like give me a minute. So, Scott does break into Allison's room. Just want to mention that because that happens, and then we are back to, and we get the first cousin Miguel appearance.
Yeah,
my cousin
Miguel. And he just like doesn't say anything until
this
Stiles.
No fit.
Oh my
Stiles,
god.
this no fit.
And Danny just loving every moment.
Oh my gosh,
Derek being shirtless.
Yes. You swing for a different team, but you still play ball. Oh my god, you swing for a different team, but you still play ball, don't you, Danny boy?
And
then Danny goes, whole scene. "You're a horrible person. I know it. I know. It keeps me up awake. Oh my god,
keeps me up at night.
Yeah, it keeps me awake at night." I was like, oh my god. And then when Danny was like, okay, I'll help you out. Now that, like, Derek was going to be there, I was like...
And Derek stays shirtless, too.
Yeah.
Because,
he gets a shirt later, but, like, I put Danny helping to just be around shirtless Derek.
Yeah, and then we cut to Scott and Chris.
Mm-hmm. Well, Scott finds the necklace.
Yep.
And I'm so annoyed that he just won't take pictures and translate later.
I know!
Makes me so mad.
I know!
Every time he takes the time to type it out, I'm over here having, like, a full-on panic attack.
You're gonna get caught.
Oh my god, somebody's gonna get in, somebody's gonna walk in, they're gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah.
Melissa's computer sent the text to Allison.
Yeah.
Which was weird.
Yeah.
Didn't enjoy that. Also, why did Chris not see Scott jump off the roof? Like, he jumped off, landed, and Chris was just standing there.
I know.
I was like,
I don't know.
How did you... Also, Chris is giving Scott a beer. I didn't know how I felt about that.
Did Scott drink it?
Yeah.
Idiot. I have to mention that Chris, once again, has his creepy little smile on his face.
He wants to know about Scott and Derek.
Yep. He wants to know about their relationship.
Allison finds Hale's burnt house.
Yep. Kate follows her there. And she has a whole fucking meltdown.
Oh my god. You just need a reason. Or maybe not. Like, you just need a reason to be a killer. Or maybe not.
Yeah. I can't stand Kate. I'm not sure who said this. I'm pretty sure it was Jackson, but argent means silver. I'm pretty sure it was Jackson because...
Give me a minute, I've ever been down.
I'm pretty sure it was Jackson because
Jackson,
they were at the game.
Yeah. Derek smashes Styles' face and he goes, you know what that was for!
Yep.
And it made me laugh! Yep. I love that!
I love Derek and Styles.
Oh my god.
Forever.
They are the best. That's why people ship them, because they're amazing together. Scott admitting it was an alphabet that turns you.
Yep. And
now, argent means silver in French.
Which Jackson tells Scott that, we find out who the alpha is.
It's Peter Hale, Uncle Peter.
Yeah, you know, that guy who was comatose in the hospital? Not comatose. He's the alpha. He is trying to explain to Derek why he's doing what he's doing, and Styles and Derek are basically in the middle of this freaking fight with the
and he
alpha.
was like, I accidentally killed Laura.
But the night nurse that takes care of him is the one who sent the text to Allison.
He said that?
No, but it would have been Peter asking her to do it for him from the hospital.
Yeah, I guess you were right.
Yeah, he's trying to explain to Derek why he killed Laura. But
it was an accident.
Yeah, but I don't think it was, because in killing her, it made him the alpha.
Harris met a woman at the bar, and she told him stuff about murder and fire. He told her stuff about murder and fire and arson.
Yep.
Because he's a chemistry teacher. And we find out that woman
was Kate
Argent.
Yep.
And Sheriff said...
Yeah, Harris is talking to the sheriff about all this.
And Harris is like, she's just wanted for arson. And Sheriff goes, no, she's wanted for murder. Peter Hale.
Cut to the end. No, I'm just kidding.
Peter Hale healed his face in a really cool way with the mirror spin. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, that was a good scene. He said, I was waiting for the perfect moment. Or for dramatic effect.
Yeah, dramatic effect. Peter is dramatic effect.
He really is.
You know, there's no me in team. And Coach says this. And both Scott and Jackson are like, yes, there is, Coach.
Yeah.
Okay, smartass. No A in econ if no win on field. Jackson gives Scott 72 hours to give him the bite.
Yep.
Or he tells everyone.
Yep.
Or at least Allison. Sheriff looks so sad not to see Styles. He was so proud for him to be on the first line, and he didn't make it, and it made me cry.
I know.
Not really, but it made me really sad.
Styles didn't play anyway, but...
Yeah. Well, that's the reason he was sad, because Styles didn't play and he didn't show up.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can have your little...
At the end of the episode, Kate is talking to Chris because he sees the claw marks on she sees the claw marks on Jackson's neck. And Chris says that you can be turned by claws if they go deep enough.
And she goes, I wonder how deep those went.
Yep, and now the hunters think Jackson is a werewolf.
Yes.
I'm wondering if that did affect him in some way, because remember the howl from the alpha, like, affected him? So I don't know if he's in, like, some weird, like, mid stage.
I don't know, because it wasn't an alpha who did that to him. So
that's true.
I don't know. Also, I don't know if you picked this up. It was right at the end of the episode. Coach goes, "What are we?" And the whole lacrosse team goes, "We are lacrosse team."
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yep, and that's the end of episode 9. Episode 10 is called Co-Captain.
It is. Kate brings a wary Allison into the family secret. Scott meets a new adversary and an unexpected ally. And Jackson's ruthless ambition places him in mortal danger.
Fucking Jackson.
There's an issue with him.
He's the issue. His whole him is an issue.
Yes.
All right, jumping right in. They won the game.
Woo! They're going to state.
Yes. They are all super pumped.
Scott scares Rodriguez.
How? Who's Rodriguez?
The guy who came up to him and he, state, and Scott like pretty much growls at this man, and he goes, state to somebody else.
Really needs to chill with like his behaviors.
Yeah, like
people on the field.
I'm honestly surprised that not more people are like,
yo, what's wrong with you? We also see Allison being kind of flirty with Scott.
Scott and Danny had a cute apology. Did you miss that? Where Danny was like, I accept your apology, and Scott was like, I didn't apologize. And Danny goes, yeah, but you passed me the whole game. Apology accepted. And I was like, oh my god!
I know. No, I saw that, but Allison and Scott flirting was when they were in the hallway chanting, stay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wasn't important to me.
Yeah, and then in the locker room is when Danny, I just love Danny as a person. He's just
Same.
He's so kind-hearted.
Did you notice Peter's lacrosse talk?
No.
He just goes on about random things about lacrosse, and I was just like, what?
Okay, Peter. Stop trying to be relatable.
And then he says to Scott, Allison doesn't have to die, but her family does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Derek, Scott, and Peter in the locker room talking about it, and Peter wants to kill the Ardents that are to blame for setting the fire.
Derek forgives Peter for killing Laura because he thinks it's an accident.
Yeah.
That happened.
Okay. So, Peter shoves his claws into Scott's neck in the showers.
Yes.
This is when we realize that him doing that is sharing memories with him.
That's the first time that is brought up. Oh my god, my fucking eye.
So this is when we learn that that's probably what's happening to Jackson, is that he's getting Derek's memories of the house.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and that's why he's having dreams about it.
You brilliant person.
I try. Yeah, so Peter's sharing memories of the house fire with Scott so that he can see why Peter wants revenge.
Yes. Allison starts having dreams. Hallucinogen dreams.
Of Scott.
And he does a Spider-Man kiss.
So hot. So hot.
Yeah.
Is it a dream? Or is he actually there?
No, because he kept like moving weirdly. So I assume it was a dream, unless he can
like her window
magically jump around and shit. But he does a Spider-Man kiss, and I was like, oh, how fun. Allison then listens to Kate and Chris talk
in the garage.
Privately.
Kate knows that Allison's in the car.
Yes.
In the garage. And leaves that thing.
Yeah, it's
for Allison to find.
It's the light up arrow thing that blinds the werewolf.
Yes. Kate just keeps forcing the matter.
Yeah.
Which pisses me off.
It really does. It's like, just let
her be a kid.
Yeah. Jackson is drifting in the parking lot. And then we find out that Jackson asked Allison to the dance.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Honestly, good for Allison.
Mm-hmm. And Allison knows about Scott and Lydia's makeout sesh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then flash back to Jackson.
His car dies. And Chris shows up trying to help him out.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
And then Scott and Styles shows up. And they're like, Jackson, get in the fucking car, dipshit! Let's dip!
Yeah.
And we find out that Chris put something in Jackson's car to make it die.
Yep. And then he just fixed it.
Yeah. Scott gets tased by Allison in the woods.
Yes, Allison tases Scott.
And he was just trying to return her necklace.
I know. And then they hug. And I was like, oh, I miss them so badly. This episode, we kind of get like a glimpse of hope for Allison's return.
Yeah.
Oh, and then it cuts to
Styles and Dad. I love that Styles was drinking milk out of the carton. Mm-hmm. That made me laugh.
Yeah.
And then he was trying to get his dad drunk to get information out of him.
Yes.
His dad just wants
on the case. He wants to know what he knows about Derek and the fire and all that shit. But this scene made me really sad. But made me love their relationship.
I agree.
Because, once the sheriff's drunk, he talks about how he misses talking to Styles and their relationship, and then he says that he misses his wife.
Yeah. But at that point, Styles was walking away and not dealing. He was like, I gotta call Scott.
Yeah. He turns around once his dad says that I miss your mom, is what he said.
Yeah. Also, we find out that everybody that has been killed has ties to arson.
Mm-hmm. Though all the kills are related to the house fire.
Yes.
When you saw his memories, do you remember those two guys that got attacked in the woods?
Mm-hmm. Yep, they were there.
Mm-hmm. They were pouring the gasoline.
Also, I don't know if you noticed, what teacher is calling you?
Never.
Scott,
so weird.
Your homework's due.
Yeah. Oh, also, you remember the store clerk that got killed? I didn't see him in any of the memories.
I didn't either.
But in the police reports that Styles was reading and getting information from his dad, we know the relation of the bus driver and the movie clerk. They were like some legal something.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Allison goes to Scott about her family lying to her.
Mm-hmm.
Then we find out that Melissa is going out on a date.
Yeah, this is where Scott kind of blows his second chance with Allison.
Yes. And then we find out that Peter is Melissa's date.
Yep.
And Peter talks of turning Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was so funny. Derek goes, I like your taste in music. I haven't heard this one in a long time. Peter made a weird skin comment to Melissa.
Yeah, he definitely has a thing for
nice skin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it.
It's a complex.
Yeah.
Because his face was all
I know.
burnt.
I realize.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's really weird because it's not the only one.
It was super fucking weird.
It's not the only comment he made.
No.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Kate follows Derek and Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Scott leaving Allison alone, ruining his second chance.
Yeah. Scott tries to save everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they may not need saving.
Yeah.
And I think it's bothersome because in doing that, he's ruining his personal relationships, like with Styles
and with Allison.
And Styles helps Scott end their date.
Mm-hmm. But also, I wrote bad Peter with red eyes.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he was trying to attack Melissa in that moment.
I don't know.
But
He's trying to make more betas. But yeah. Styles saves the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I put how annoyed Melissa is with Styles. And Styles goes, I think I have whiplash. And Melissa goes, whiplash? You hit us!
Yeah. Yeah, she was awesome in that scene.
I agree.
And then we go back to Derek and Jackson.
And he confirms that he's been dreaming about the hail fire.
Yep, the house specifically.
Yes.
Because he says something about how he's been at the house before.
Jackson starts crying because he doesn't want to die.
Yeah, Derek's trying to kill him.
Yeah. That's okay. But like the crying, then I feel like that's a little more.
So dramatic. But Jackson, it bothers me. Jackson asked to become a werewolf.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I enjoyed how Scott said, "Excuse me, co-captain."
Co-captain.
And that is not the only time that is said in that house. I don't know if you realized that.
Yep, I did. So Scott says the title of this episode, and basically saves Jackson's ass.
Scott got hit with an arrow.
Scott gets shot by the hunters.
I just want to say, I paused to write down when he got hit with the arrow just so like nothing would happen as I'm writing it down. As I paused on Derek, his teeth looked so fake.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
it looked...
When this was being...
Okay, but it looked like those plastic vampire teeth you get on Halloween. And I was like,
oh yeah.
Dr. Deaton found Scott.
And saves his life. Dr. D for the win.
And I wrote mostly because of what Dr. Deaton said. Where he was like, I mostly work with cats and dogs.
Yep.
Mostly.
Yep.
Oh, also, the music in the past few episodes?
Yeah, it's been pretty decent. Pretty good stuff. Early 2010s.
Oh, yes.
Music, so good.
And then the last thing.
Kate tells Allison. Takes Allison to Derek. And tells her all about werewolves.
Yep, Kate captured Derek.
Yep.
And is torturing him.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate for Derek.
Yeah. So, next episode.
Yeah, anyway, moving on. Right. Episode 11 is called Formality.
Derek and Kate's twisted past is revealed. Allison reels from another huge revelation, and the school's winter formal turns tragic as Peter and the werewolf hunters close in on their prey.
Kate's torturing Derek.
Yeah, and it replays that Kate tells Allison that Derek is a werewolf.
Yep, they exist. There's more.
And that Kate needs Allison to catch the second beta.
Yep.
And then we see that Allison's in her car. She's leaving, and the sheriff pulls her over.
Yeah, she's like
and she's like,
out.
And she's like, you need to give me a ticket. You need to give me a ticket.
No,
and he goes, you were going 75 in a 25 construction zone, but it's okay. And then at the end, he goes, we still need to write you a ticket.
Yeah, I know. That scene was so good.
I loved that scene. Oh my god. Did you see? Peter was trying to pick up Scott from the vet like he was a dog.
Yeah.
He goes, I want to collect my property.
Yes.
I was like...
Yeah, that was hilarious. But we also learn about Mountain Ash.
I was going to say, yeah, Mountain Ash, his first reference.
Yep. Nope. Deaton for the win once again. Basically, what my understanding of Mountain Ash is that it, like, werewolves can't
cross it.
Yeah.
Also, the chair that Peter threw.
Oh my god, that was horrible.
Deaton, it totally hit him in the face, but like because it was CGI, it didn't.
I know.
He just stood there and took it, and I was like, that chair totally just hit you.
Yeah. And then it cuts to Melissa in her car
crying.
That was really sad.
I was like, and
I hope Scott felt like shit.
But okay, before she's crying, and it made me so upset that she was. Scott had lost his phone.
Yep.
This is his second phone.
I know.
And Styles goes, just buy a new phone. He goes, I don't have the money for a new phone. I was like, you just got this one!
I know. Yeah. Also, we find out about Kate and Derek's little past.
Before that, just Kate licking Derek's abs.
Yes. This is when we find out about their past.
Yeah.
Like it. Yeah, she Yeah, I don't know, but apparently they had hooked up in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Kate has a weird thing for werewolves.
Yes.
Like, she wants to kill them, but she is also extremely attracted to them.
And then Scott is watching Allison sleep, and he starts to fall asleep and falls off the roof.
Yeah. He is definitely showing stalker syndrome again.
Yes.
Because you remember, I don't remember what episode it was, but he was like crawling on her roof and like
yes.
He's so stalkery.
He is. Oh, so Scott's failing 2 classes.
Oh, yes.
So instead of taking him off the lacrosse team, Coach says no dance for Scott.
Mm-hmm.
So Coach doesn't have to throw him off the team.
Yep.
Or cut off his left testicle.
Yep.
Something that Jackson had said. Just, he was like, screw you and you. In fact, screw each other.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Well, Scott wants Jackson to take Allison to the dance since he can no longer go.
Uh-huh.
And he's being a complete dick about it, which I honestly thought that he would want to take Allison.
He already is taking Allison.
I know! And so I don't understand what the problem was, or if he was just refusing because Scott was asking and he just wanted to be a dick about it. But
as he's convincing him, Scott says, I got shot for you. And Jackson goes, show me the bullet wound.
Yeah.
Scott goes, I know, you know it healed. And Jackson goes, convenient.
Yeah. Jackson's just obnoxious in this entire scene. Honestly, this whole episode up until the end, but...
And then Styles also says, for the sake of your wolvelyhood.
Yes.
And then Scott attacks Jackson to make him go to the dance with Allison. It cuts to Jackson showing up at Allison's locker, all sweaty and nervous, asking when he should pick her up for the dance.
Yes.
And he repeated, just friends, like 4 times.
Yes.
Want to go to the dance as friends? Just friends.
Yes.
Just friends. Just as friends.
Yeah.
I was like, are you okay?
No.
And then everyone's out to kick Scott's little werewolf ass.
Mm-hmm.
And Lydia says, and then we cut to the mall.
Yeah.
Lydia says something that is one of my favorite lines in the entire show. So this is my quote. This is one of my favorite quotes from the entire show. Never frown. Someone could be falling in love with your smile.
Yeah, that's a really good one, and I'm pretty sure Allison repeats it later on in the episode.
She does.
Yeah.
When she forces Lydia to go to the dance with Styles.
Yep.
She goes, don't frown, Lydia. Someone could be falling in love with your smile.
Yeah. It's kind of sad that Lydia has to be forced
to go with Styles.
I know.
But also, when Lydia's picking out all the dresses, Styles goes, is this a 24-hour Macy's?
I know.
Like, yes.
It's so good. I've never gone dress shopping with a guy ever.
Me either.
I've always wanted it to like be like a surprise, or, you know, very interesting. I also just don't know why Styles was at the mall.
He just, I don't know. Maybe Allison told him to come.
Maybe.
And then Peter made his second weird skin comment.
To Allison.
Which is so weird. Like, you're a 40-year-old man at least.
Yeah.
She's a 17-year-old girl.
His whole interaction with Allison was super odd. Like,
I hated it.
If I was...
And he was totally creeping her out, too.
I know. Like, if I was a teenage girl just hanging out at the mall, trying to find a dress, and some old guy came up to me and was like,
you have beautiful skin.
Beautiful skin. Oh, that color won't go with your skin.
Oh my God, I'd throw up in front of him.
I'd kick him in the nuts.
Feel like you see that you made me do that. I also put Scott is always watching. Stalkerish vibes over here.
Yes, again.
I mean, he's trying to protect Allison, but like Stalker 101 over here.
Allison has protection. And that is what I don't understand about Scott, is like, dude, her parents are hunters.
Yeah.
She's fine.
Yeah.
How about worrying about your other friends who have no idea what's going on? Or who can't protect themselves.
So then we flash back to Derek and Kate and find out that Derek's been keeping a secret for all these years. That he was the reason that Kate found his family.
Yep. God, that must suck. To live with that guilt.
Yeah. And she also found out that the beta is Scott.
Yep. You want to know what I find weird? Or what I don't understand?
What?
Why has Kate, like, this whole season to convince Derek or whatever werewolf that she didn't set the house fire? Like, why would you not take responsibility?
Probably because she wasn't supposed to.
I mean, she wasn't, but, like, what's Derek gonna do? Tell her brother?
I don't know.
You know?
And then we cut to Scott getting ready for the dance.
Oh. And, yeah, him and Melissa, that was such a sweet moment.
And I loved one of Melissa's comments when she's looking at the jacket after she realized what was wrong with it. She goes, "No one legally blind will see."
Yeah. I know, and then he's got a hole in his pants, so she tries to sew it up before.
And she goes, "Pants off now."
I know.
And then one of the last lines she goes is, "Listen, dumbass."
I know.
I was like, parent moments 101.
I know. Melissa's trying to give him advice on Allison and what to tell her and all that.
Yeah.
Which is a really sweet moment to watch.
I know. I love that scene. Then we cut to Stydia. A great Stydia moment.
I know.
Stydia forever. I know. I loved it. And then I put asshat Jackson at dance.
Yes. And then we see that Allison sees Scott crawling up on the roof, which I'm not sure why she didn't find that odd.
Also, Jackson was drinking, and it was a whole thing, and I was like, he was like, "You want some?" And she was like, "No, I want to enjoy my dance." He's like, "I don't." And I was like, what a dick scene.
Okay, so when we get into the dance, or when Scott gets in there and he's looking around, did you notice how terrible all these dresses were?
I hated Lydia's dress.
I hated all of them. They were so awful.
I agree. It's 2012.
I know.
Let it go.
It was so horrible.
And then we get another great Styles comment.
Hang on, I said that Styles basically sat there and roasted Lydia for like 2 minutes straight.
He goes, "Lydia, get off your cute little ass and dance with me now."
Yeah. After basically telling her that she's like a cold-hearted bitch.
Yeah.
But you're still cute though.
Yeah. And then he admitted to Lydia he's had a crush on her since in the 3rd grade.
Yep.
Also saying inside that she is a cold, lifeless exterior. There is actually a human soul.
Yep.
He also knows how smart she really is when nobody else does.
Yep.
And then Coach sees McCall.
This whole scene, I was laughing for like the entire 5 minutes.
Oh, I know. He's running around, and then he forces Danny to dance with him.
Yes.
And Scott, and just Coach reacting to it.
I know.
I mean, just stay. I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
I didn't mean that, everybody.
What are you looking at?
Yeah, Greenberg.
What is that, the 4th or 5th Greenberg?
I think that's 4th.
Oh my god, so good.
We should start like a Greenberg count.
We really should. And then
Scott and Allison dance together.
Yeah. And he tells her that he loves her.
Doesn't she say it back?
No.
Is that in a future episode?
Yes.
Got it. Then Jackson's drunk and is seeing Peter.
I said Jackson has problems, reveals himself to Chris, and snitches on Scott. Jackson just is a problem.
Yeah.
He doesn't have problems. He is a problem.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, how nice Styles was about Lydia needing to go find Jackson.
Oh, I know.
He was like, "It's okay. I understand."
Then we have, in my opinion, a famous Lydia scene.
Yeah. Hold on before I get there. So we thought it was it was Jackson seeing Peter, but it was actually the hunters and, like you were saying, revealing that he wants to be a wolf. I thought that was so funny where it just I was like, how did they keep those things
I
so straight?
I know. I think Jackson was just probably drunk.
But he also said that he was worried that Chris will hurt Scott.
Yeah. So every once in a while you get like a glimpse of Jackson being a human being, but they literally only last like
30 seconds.
A split second.
Yeah. So Lydia left to look for Jackson. Jackson confides in Stiles.
Yep.
And then
the famous Lydia scene.
Yes.
Peter attacks Lydia, and we hear her first scream. Stiles finds her with Peter standing over her body.
Peter, knowing Stiles is the clever one.
Yep.
Stiles calling Scott Scotty. I thought that was so funny. Usually he calls him Scotty just like out of fun.
Yeah.
But that was like the first time he ever like actually just Scotty, like Jackson and Scotty. I was like,
I noted that we have another bus scene.
And I said Allison kissing gross bus window.
Yes. Yes, and I said that it's kind of a deja vu moment because
I know he kind of realized that too.
The second episode
where Scott was like, I'm having a deja vu moment.
Yep.
And Allison finds out Scott is a teen wolf.
And that's the end of episode 11. All right, season finale. Episode 12 is called Code Breaker.
Stiles tries to outwit Peter and save his friends. Scott teams up with Derek to take down the Alpha for good. And Allison learns the importance of her hunter family's strict moral code. Stiles would rather die than have Peter kill Lydia.
Yeah.
And if Lydia lives, she'll become a werewolf.
So this episode is another one of those episodes where it starts out how the last one ended.
Yes.
Hunters' cars coming in between the buses to squish Scott, and Scott revealing that he's a teen wolf to Allison. I don't even know where to begin, dude. I have so much.
Well, I just threw two things out there.
Yeah.
Also, we learned something about female werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
They turn twice a month.
Yeah, that's right. Peter. Okay, so Stiles goes with Peter.
To save Lydia.
He
calls Jackson.
Jackson saves Lydia. There's a lot of saving happening in these few scenes.
Yeah.
Because I think it's hard to know where to start because you start here, jumps here,
yeah,
jumps
I know.
back here, then,
Yeah, I know. I think we both kind of realized that in the last few episodes.
Yeah, I don't understand. But yeah, so then
Chris kicks Allison and Kate out of the state. Like, full on is like, you two must leave the state.
Yeah. Chris is beyond pissed at Kate.
Yep. We get a rare Argent mom scene.
Yeah.
She's a bitch.
She is a bitch. like a raging bitch.
Just full on silence. Just, she is a bitch.
I needed to think. This episode was so much.
Also,
I said that Allison's mom's kind of crazy.
She's a bitch. She's not crazy.
She is, but like something's wrong with her.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I don't know if she's just naturally violent or if it's like the women
in the Argent family,
like the women hunters in general.
I
don't know if they feel like they need to be like macho.
Scott can find the Alpha, and Chris can find Scott.
Yeah.
So one leads to another. Peter's trying to make Stiles give him his password.
Yep.
And he goes, his username is Allison. His password is also Allison. And Stiles goes, you still want him in the pack?
I know, because they're trying to track down Scott's phone, which Derek has.
Yes. To find Derek.
Yep.
Scott howled to find Derek.
Yep.
And Derek howled back.
I know, that was such a good scene.
I hated how Allison was walking in the hospital.
Yeah, what's with her, like, visions of Lydia? Like, Lydia freaking out?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's because
I don't know. I just didn't
freaked
like
out
how
or
slow
what.
and weird she walked. That was the only thing I wrote down.
Uh-huh.
Peter offered Styles the bite.
Mm-hmm.
And Styles pulls away last minute.
Yep.
He says, and Peter is like, I can tell you want the bite. And so I wrote down, Styles wants the bite, but not to be like Peter.
Yeah.
And Styles is also lying to his father.
Yes, he sure is.
Scott found Derek. Derek's getting a little anxious.
Peter also finds Derek because he also heard the howl.
Mm-hmm. Well, kind of. He didn't get there, but he knows.
Yeah.
And then we find out Peter killed Laura to become the Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not an accident.
Correct.
No one should break the code. Kate is having Allison shoot Derek. And blind Scott.
Hang on. You are like flying through.
Well, you're not.
Well, I'm trying, but you're like moving 100 miles an hour. Okay.
Well, the last thing I had was next thing you had was hospital.
No,
so I was
it's not.
Okay.
Because the hospital scene I'm not sure what I was talking about.
Okay, I was like, do you want me to get there?
I'm pretty sure it was Jackson.
Oh.
At the hospital. Anyway, no, okay.
Okay, back to which one did you want to start at?
Hunters are looking for Scott. Because Jackson told them that Scott was the werewolf.
Yeah.
Then I had Peter killed Laura on purpose, which I'm sure Derek really enjoyed. And then Chris finds out that Kate set the fire.
Yes.
And broke the code.
So, hold on, before we get there.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kate had Allison shoot Derek and blind Scott after they escaped. And I just said, how many times Derek has been shot this season? I was like, he's been shot one too many times. That poor sourpuss.
Sourwolf. Listen, man, it's getting late.
What time is it? It's only 9:30. We're so old.
I know.
Such old people.
I think this episode is just really hard to talk about because
there's so much happening.
And it's just cutting back and forth and back and forth.
I know.
So, like, let's just do the big chunk and talk about the Hunter's problems really quick. Chris didn't know Kate set the fire. Allison's helping Kate try and what she thinks is catching Derek and Scott. Chris ends up helping Scott get out of that whole thing because Chris is pissed at Kate.
Yeah.
And then we find out the code.
We hunt those who hunt us.
Mm-hmm. You only kill those who kill. Mm-hmm. She basically killed
a bunch of innocents.
And
some
humans.
Of them, and humans who weren't werewolves as well.
Yeah.
Which is totally not part of the code.
Correct.
Peter starts attacking Kate.
Yep. Peter, he like
brings her into the house.
Yeah.
And Allison follows.
Yes, and all Peter wants is like a decent apology. So he says, I think he was gonna kill her anyway.
Probably.
But he doesn't like her apology and he kills her in front of Allison.
Yeah.
Then I said Derek and Scott to the rescue.
I know.
Sexy as fuck.
Sexy as fuck. I just said Derek and Scott fighting Peter.
Yeah, and then
a weird ass alpha transformation.
Oh my god, that was horrible.
And I said Peter transformed into the big bad wolf.
Yes. And then I put Allison for the win because she shot the arrow to the bomb. It exploded and burned Peter. How unfortunate. Honestly, that's the way that he went.
I know. I was like, that's it's a little disappointing.
I know.
And then we shoot back to Jackson Styles, and Jackson says, "Hey, this isn't an all-terrain vehicle." And Styles goes, "Did you pay for this?" And Jackson goes, "No." Mm-hmm. And Styles goes, "Then shut up."
I know.
The very CGI throw, then caught by this very CGI werewolf. Yes.
Honestly, Styles treats everybody kind of the same.
Yeah, and I love it.
I know. Like, even Scott doesn't get, like, special treatment.
No, and it's the best.
Yeah.
So I said Alpha on fire.
Yep.
And I said Peter got burned again.
Yep. Yay, Scallison.
Yep. Allison kissed Scott because she loves him.
Yes, that's when she tells him. Mm-hmm.
Derek killed Peter.
Derek finished off Peter.
Mm-hmm.
And
Derek is the alpha
now. Yep. Derek is now the alpha.
Scott and Stiles sneak into Lydia's hospital room.
Yeah, to check to see if she's healed.
And she isn't.
No, she's not.
And so they say, "What the hell is Lydia?"
Yep.
And then the creepy Derek smile.
What is up with everybody in the show having a creepy, weird, not okay smile?
Okay, but Derek doesn't smile, so he should have a creepy smile.
That's true. I guess.
And then he bit Jackson.
Yep.
And Mama Argent is getting a bigger role.
I hate her.
And then they said somebody will be here in 2 days.
Yeah, so the episode ends with Chris and Mrs. Argent. We still don't have a name.
We'll figure it out next season.
Talking about how Scott has bigger fish to fry.
Mm-hmm.
And the season ending scene is Skallison on the roof.
They're dating again.
Woohoo! And that is the end of season 1.
Okay, before we end today's episode, I just want to talk about, because this is like something I bring up next episode and next season. Mm-hmm. As Derek goes in for the bite, he goes like this, towards his face.
Yeah.
Just remember that.
So, Keilee, how did you feel about the season?
I really enjoyed this season.
Mm-hmm.
I love season 1. It's a little insane.
Yeah. I think that I liked the enemies this season.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked seeing all the relationships form. I just think that there are more things that I would like to see happen.
I know. I can't wait for season 2.
But I'm still waiting for those things to happen. Like, I really want Derek and Scott to have a good relationship. They don't.
It's going to be a few seasons.
I know.
Don't worry about that one. We'll get there eventually.
You know, I want to see Stiles get the girl. I want, this season was a lot about setup. You know, we needed to know.
We're meeting the characters. We're getting to know the crew.
How do you think that Derek's going to do as an alpha? Do you think he's going to get a Peter vibe to him?
I think a little.
I think he's going to get power hungry. I don't think Scott's going to like that.
No.
And I'm excited to see what or who the enemies are in season 2.
And I'm definitely excited to meet the new characters of season 2.
Yes, me too. Hopefully some of them get names. Yeah. Unlike Mrs. Argent. Yeah, I think that was a good season.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this season.
I'm definitely excited. We hope you guys enjoyed the season if you watched along. If not, I really hope that following along with us wasn't too difficult.
And again, we'll put our email in the description down below. Mm-hmm. Like and subscribe.
Comment any suggestions, anything you liked, anything that we didn't mention about the episodes that you think's important.
Yeah. Send us questions.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do like a Q&A in the next coming up episodes.
Yeah. So we hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.